Good morning, channel friends. I got this piece in France. Actually, I got 3 of them. We've already painted one with VI and Brule and applied a transfer. We painted one with Batio di Rosa and applied a transfer, and we'll do this one with Elisir, but I don't know yet if we'll add the transfer, though, and I say this because these are 3 very similar pieces of furniture with the same veneered top. It is a classic design, a piece of furniture that's quite common in France, particularly in the Provençal region. They're definitely not original pieces, they're reproduction furniture with an original Provençal style, but they're really quite lovely. You can place them in any corner because they're quite spacious, able to hold a fair amount of stuff, and they're really solid wood. You can truly use them for any purpose. So, today we're looking at how to strip this lovely surface, which is veneered. You can see it from the back, but it's very pleasing. And you'll see how beautiful is Elisir. It's been a while since I showed it to you. Let's get started. This lovely surface can be stripped easily with our paint stripper. How do we know it? As I was saying before, from the back. If you look at the back, you'll see it has a nice big piece of solid wood, still veneered, with some cross joints and wood fittings. Secondly, you'll see it because if you get closer and do this, scratch it lightly, you'll see it comes off very easily. It means that this old paint, a bit shiny, is a classic protective varnish. It's not one of those thick, industrial, plasticized finishes. Those are not varnishes, they're plastics that protect. This is a simple paint, so anything that's paint can be stripped. Things like polyurethane finishes, which are plastic, can't be stripped because they're not paints. Now we apply the paint stripper. Remember one thing, you never leave it to dry on its own, so you don't just apply it and walk away. If it's windy, cover it with any plastic, even an opened rubbish bag, alright? You massage it and don't forget about it. What does that mean? If we gently massage the paint stripper this way, every now and then, it reactivates itself. So, once you've already spread it on the surface, do me a favor and come back every now and then. Every now and then means, within about 15 minutes, come back a few times and keep massaging it thoroughly. This way it'll work great. Another very important thing is you shouldn't be too stingy, too tight, when applying it because it works right, obviously. But it shouldn't be spread too thin, so you don't waste it. You never waste product. What I applied at the start, I now spread it everywhere and keep making it work on the surface. But it doesn't work if it's too thin either, otherwise the excipients don't dissolve. When does it work well? It works well when, within the first 10 to 15 minutes, we see that it has already dissolved the underlying paint. What does that mean? You can already notice that the paint starts to become transparent, and in this way, if it's already transparent, it means it's doing its job. Now I keep massaging everywhere. You see, I don't forget it, until I reach the end, even here. Here, actually, in the central part is where it's the thickest, because usually the sides of the furniture have a bit of wear, so the finish also thins out. Here we go, the final strokes. Here there's no wind, no air, no sun, so I'm good. If you're painting in the open air, remember that. Now we let it rest for a moment, and every 4 to 5 minutes I come along and with my soft bristle brush, I give it a little massage. So that I reactivate it, I move it around, and this way it doesn't dry out. If it doesn't dry, it works fine. If it does, it stays stuck. It's time to remove the paint stripper. If you come closer, you can see that in many spots it's transparent. It's transparent here because it's dissolved what little there was to dissolve. Here it's not so green anymore, but very transparent, though here it's also thicker, whereas in this spot, look how it's completely dissolved. This means it has dissolved the underlying paint, And now it's time to remove it. Use a spatula that's slightly sharp like ours, Geppetto, but don't make the mistake of using them improperly by using the corners, because you could end up scratching the furniture. You start from one side, and then you go to the other. You'll realize the paint stripper has worked because there's this layer that has gone from being shiny to being matte. And here you can also see our melted paint stripper. Voila! To remove the excess paint stripper, I use a bit of water with a drop of ammonia. I need to use very little though, because right now the wood is really fragile, delicate, because it's still not protected. This cloth is wrung. I just need it to gently remove the excess before proceeding to the next step in order to purify and cleanse for surface area. I'm definitely not going to apply any kind of liquid because it could be harmful. Once I have cleaned it, it's nice and tidy here. I take my steel wool with alcohol, finish the surface and let it breathe. Denatured alcohol 90 degrees. We put a little drop on the furniture and gently go over it with the steel wool to test it. Then, with a cloth or some paper, I go and remove the excess, like this. Look at the wood, how it immediately becomes lighter. Now Emma grabs the phone and shows us, drying the wood, how has it changed? We'll immediately notice on this piece of the tone the wood has taken on.
As you can see, it's no longer shiny, it's becoming light, dry.
And it's absolutely not the same tone it was before. Look how it's different from here to here, where in some spots on the edge you can still see a bit of mordant. That must be washed away with alcohol. I've realized that this is the wooden tone, so I know how to work with it. I continue with alcohol and steel wool over the entire surface, and I'll show you once stripped. Now that it's nice and dry after stripping and everything I've done to this surface, I make sure to protect it so it doesn't dry out further. I use Jasmine wax. Once this step is done, I focus on the internal cleaning because I need to use the wallpaper remover to remove all those glue residues. Sometimes when using glue with wallpaper, or maybe wallpapers that are self-adhesive, they stick a lot to the furniture. And so, to properly remove the glue residues, it's necessary to use a specific product. So in a bit, I'll show you how with the wallpaper remover we can achieve a nice, clean and smooth surface without going mad over all the glue residue. In the meantime, I'll start applying this first coat of wax, which protects the furniture from drying out because in here the temperature is quite high due to the radiators which are really hot. And so I don't want the wood to dry out too much. Use this trick, a pure first coat immediately after you strip it. If you want to protect with wax, and apply another coat after finishing it. When you find yourselves in situations like this, where the glue doesn't come off easily, or like this, where the paper has been really glued on with let's say, with a glue that's already preset on the furniture, don't wash with too many soaps because you might damage the wood. In these cases, it's better to use a specialized product. This product is specifically made for removing wallpaper. When I'm at home and they have entire walls of wallpaper to remove, I put it in a spray bottle. What do? I use a regular spray bottle in which I put a fair amount of water, half of this product and half water. In this way, by spraying it, you'll see that after about 10 minutes the paper just comes off. So the advice is not to use it pure, use it diluted. It doesn't harm your hands. Don't worry, it's not an acid. I usually do this when I have to do a few drawers and then I spread it with a brush which helps me a little bit to spread it better. And so, even if there are glue residues that you might not see around, it removes them all 100%. I let it adhere slightly. It works for a few minutes, about 10 minutes, without letting it dry, of course, and then with a spatula and a sponge, I remove all the excess. When you're in situations like this, you always end up spending hours cleaning the surface, removing the old glue. This thing here just wastes your time. I continue. I start by removing the first layer, which is the paper that already comes off thanks to this initial application of the liquid. Afterwards, I will only have the part glued to the surface. I go over it again with the brush, since everything is still damp and it needs more time to work. The glue comes off well. This is a vinyl wallpaper, so, as you can see, it's laminated. It might take a few more minutes. And look here, what's underneath? The glue. So if we remove the layer of paper that stops the liquid from getting through, it definitely comes off much quicker. You do this step twice, so at least you're sure and don't have to put in too much effort. For this furniture, we've chosen Elisir. Why, Emma?
Because it's been a while since we used it and it lightens it. It has some austere shapes and it will be more modern.
Look here, there are loads of flowers that actually a lot of people like. And I like them too, but I would like it a little bit lighter. Now it's a bit, let's say, too serious, and look at this colour, how it freshens it up completely. It always looks lovely. This colour, this shade of green that's neither aqua green nor sage green, is somewhere in between, very beautiful, very covering. And so we cover the entire surface with 2 different brushes. I use a pointed brush to get well in the mouldings and cover 100% even going deep, whereas Emma uses an Elizabeth brush to make it nice and velvety in the application. We paint everything. Second coat, pure paint everywhere. I finished with Elisir and it's beautiful. I don't know how I managed all this time without using this colour. I'm always amazed when I use it. It's fantastic. To continue with the green theme, I think it will become a beautiful Provençal piece of furniture. I'm using this new transfer from the Redesign line, which is called Greenery Grace. And it's actually quite special because it's a fairly large transfer in the sense that it's not huge and in a tube because it's divided into 3 sheets, but it has subjects that are really easy to blend together. Look at the content. These are all wild herbs with some writing. Here there's some wisteria, some mint, different types of herbs that you can use either to climb up from the cabinet door or by arranging them. There are also some very beautiful ornamental writings. Now I'm doing a slow mix of cuts and creating some designs on this part, on the other, and also on the 2 central doors. Our piece of furniture is coming along nicely. We've added a bit more transfer here and there on the doors. I've finished the second side and we've made it very delicate, but Provençal. Every Provençal piece of furniture, almost always with a pickled finish, light or not, you decide if it should be heavier or lighter. But I'll teach you how to do pickling without hurting your wrist, meaning it can be a bit tiring to do the whole piece of furniture with effort and without raising too much dust in the environment you're in. And how do you do it? A damp microfiber cloth, our friend. You go over the spot you need to sand, and then you do it like this. This will allow us not to struggle in any way. But most importantly, it stops dust from going everywhere. Today I'm not going for a strong pickled finish, just a delicate touch on the edges, but look how well it can turn out even on details like this. You choose how strong you want it. How much you want to pickle? I like to give furniture its own identity. For me, this is a little Provençal-style cabinet, and that's what it should become, I continue. My restyling is almost finished. It's just missing a little touch that also protects the furniture. With my Jasmine wax, I go over the wood again, which I've already protected, and I also go over the entire piece of furniture. I'll protect the wooden parts that have come out with the pickled finish, the color, and my transfer. And look how the piece of furniture comes to life. The wood on top was already protected.
The first coat has definitely sealed it. This second coat, besides nourishing, will make the surface very, very smooth. Moreover, the wax can be reapplied over time. What does that mean? If over the years you throw keys on this piece of furniture and create some scratches, all you need to do is take the Jasmine wax again, spread it like I'm doing now, and after a few hours, massage it in. All the scratches will disappear, every single one, and it will go back to being beautiful, unprotected for many years.
This restyling is finished too. Do you like it, Emma?
Yes.
What do you like?
So, the colour, which is very soft, I think it has modernized it a lot. And we've managed to give it a country touch with a style that's different from all its siblings that they've already seen, in my opinion.
Exactly. And remember that not always, when furniture is so heavy, they have to end up at flea markets or elsewhere, because sometimes people say, it's heavy, and it will be heavy even if I paint it, but you know what the trick is with this heaviness? It's finding the right colour for the shape, for what this piece of furniture wants to convey, and for the style it represents. This is a classically Provençal piece. It has flowers. It has this beautiful shape on the top wood that needs to be highlighted for its authenticity. It's a Provençal piece, and that's how it should be restored. Actually, its shiny reddish wood didn't really do justice to its shapes. And in my opinion, now it's quite cute. I lightened it up with a transfer that makes it fresher, more appealing. I think it's the best. So, I remind you that all the products you've seen can be purchased on the only Italian site that sells magic paint, which is called www.elisirhome.com, or from the exclusive retailers of magic paint, which you can find on the site www.magicpaint.it. They're divided by region and are very easy to find. Emma, what else needs to be said?
That it's not available on Amazon.
Never. It's not available on Amazon because they're all imitations. Goodbye.